Hello, the rabbit here. So I came finally to talk about my what seems to be my most popular software project ever, which is the Transformers for to Fight Revival. That game is a mobile game that was owned by Kabam and after that by Netflix, and with the character copyright by Hasbro and so on. And Kabam and later on Netflix decided to discontinue the service, leaving the community without a way to play the game. And from what I understood, picking up on the project, by the way, it's a game that I didn't play when it was being serviced by those companies, but my best friend liked a lot the game and sent me a video about the revival project needing people. Back then, they were looking for the original data, and there was some piece of code that was started by another developer, and I started from there to actually make it possible to play the game. And I've taken a specific approach, which was considered the most safe in terms of a copyright that I could imagine and still be able to reasonably work on that task, which was to have the application as it existed and use AI tools to fill the gaps until the game actually worked the way that it was intended. So that was the basic idea, and I was surprised with the reception of the initiative, how much people liked that I was bringing things back to life, and it was possible to play again. But since the beginning, people started asking, when is it going to be released? Like, first of all, timelines, like the deadlines are something that are in many contexts not necessary, but if optional, I don't like to have them. Like, I believe as a kind of core belief that things are pretty much unpredictable in this universe, although there is a degree of predictability, so to speak. And well, otherwise we wouldn't be able to reason and predict things. Also, I received a lot of questions of how to do it, and on top of that, other tension point came, which was the usage of the AI tools themselves. Added a massive automation process to this revival, to be used at this revival, actually up to a degree that automation workflow was the thing that interested me the most on doing as a technical curiosity and so on. And some people started being uncomfortable about that, and then we have the other team that has a different approach, which is also interesting for its own reasons. From what I've seen, what I've read, it uses It starts with a decompiled version of the game, a much older version of the game. And as everyone can see in my previous video about the Pokemon Blue decompilation, to which I've had some mods, the compilation has a lot of potential when it happens to a game. So that for itself is a reason for team management initiative being also very interesting. And there are, just said, there are a lot of questions and a lot of questions about the process to patch the base APK. So there was a lot of dispute around the release format that I'm choosing. Like I'm releasing this revival in code format, which is not friendly for the less tech-savvy players, which were expecting some more finished products, like a simple APK file that they could install, or even a Play Store release. So that's an important point to clarify. As someone who did programming for a long time, I've thought about a lot about software engineering. I see this as a software piece, not as a standalone game. And there are some reasons for that. The main one being that, okay, there are some people that argued, okay, that I didn't know about the copyright rules, that the copyright owners for this game wouldn't go after the project, they wouldn't care. Okay, I don't know whether they would shut down the initiative, and I don't know a lot about copyright. That's what we have in hand is the approach that I've chosen to work with. So the release is in code format, and I was about to say the main reason is I don't own Transformers Forged to Fight. So there is no safe way to release that as a standalone game, as many people seem to desire. If somehow I can carry the popularity of this project to a later developed game of my own, and a game that hasn't anything to do with Transformers, with Force to Fight, but can appeal to the community, then I can use the same automation structure in the development of that game, and then it will be actually a standalone game, and if everything goes right, it will be on Play Store. So that should be a totally different thing. But this one is not like that, and I plan to add online features later, and those features will have to be more difficult to use than the current APK patching process that people are complaining about. So there is that. Unfortunately, this revival isn't friendly for the less tech saving. It seems that team manager is planning to treat that differently, but I can't speak for them. Like, I wish the best of luck for them in that regard and in other regards, but that's how things are. All that being said, I'm supposed to offer some guidance of how to patch the APK. So currently, the revival code is available at the GitHub link that I already shared in the Discord server, and I will also add to this video. And then you have to choose in the drop down, if you're going to download it directly as a zip file, you have to select the development branch there if you want to have the latest code, which is easier to, like, at the time of this recording, it's easier to use than the one in the master branch, and it has newer changes. And then you can extract that to a folder, like it will become a project folder, and inside that folder there are the launchers that are available for Microsoft Windows and for Linux distributions. And once you run that program, that is among the files that you extracted, it will try to download automatically the dependencies. Like, one aspect that made people comfortable was the dependency of the legible interpreter. Legible being the programming language that I've developed also with the help of AI tools, together with my own harness that is related to it, the legible coder. And legible coder is one piece of my whole automation workflow. But the launcher will try to download the legible interpreter and install automatically. And if everything goes right, in the end, it will open a web application which you have the graphical interface in which you can choose the options that apply to your case. There are the options to put the server side of the project together with the APK, and there is option to make it so you run the server for yourself separately from the front-end application, and that one will be necessary for the online modes, which will work through the LAN connection, and that's it. If you have a 32-bit device, you need to choose the proper option. There is the detail that you have to build intermediate library to package for the 32-bit version. But overall, it's straightforward, as straightforward as it can be, almost. And you have the final APK file that you can install to your device or run in an emulator. In that case, the user doesn't have a device with Microsoft Windows or Linux available, as in the person only have the Android device itself. And it's possible to run Linux in such devices by using tools like Termux, like user space, and then you'll be able to run Linux inside of those environments and install the revival code and patch the APK as required. That's it. Like, the automation is very interesting It is a combination of ERMs and ERMs agent with cloud code, with codecs, with legible code. Like everything is used in the middle of the process, and it's in a Docker container to be isolated. So it's a very beautiful combination that allows the project to progress. I have some people that are authorized to make requests to that automation. One of them goes by the user tag of BR space BR, and there are some other people that chosen to remain anonymous, that are testing the game. Like they have I consider that an important help. They are like the QA team of the project. So to a degree, I'm not alone, and that's it. I think that covers the whole situation with the Transformers 4 to Fight revival. See you on the next video. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoy my coding projects. Like I make a important choice to put effort on those projects. Like I have a job, kind of, but it's not a full-time job. It's a very serious job, but it's not a full-time one. And my overall financial situation is not good. So it's not easy. Like, and people say that the token cost is going to arise a lot coming from the OpenAI Anthropic side. So in the future, if to keep that automation for the hypothetical other projects in the future, it might need to switch to these Chinese models or Chinese open-weight models, because it tend to be cheaper as the main drivers. But by the way, the automation also uses open weight models as part of the process. They are used by the legible coder. By the way, legible coder is meant to be a ship to use harness, so it uses the free API endpoints for the language models, or it can even use local running models. So yeah, I already talked a lot of things that are not very interesting for the casual player of Transformers Force to Fight, and I thank a lot the community for receiving me with the enthusiasm that they received. Like, it's a dream come true. I wanted to work with gaming for a long time, and it's happening in a very interesting way. Even though I'm not earning any money, there is the problem of not even allowed to earn money with this, directly at least, and so on. Okay, see you guys next time. Hope you enjoy the whole content, the whole of the produce, and the social efforts that I'm working on.